Okay, and let's talk first about how you guys met.
Yeah, it's kind of an interesting, weird story. I was at an OSU football game and saw this girl that I knew, her and her husband. She was actually she's the sister-in-law of a girl I used to date, and she had also set me up with her in the past. And it would have been a little while before, and she's like, "Hey, are you dating anybody?" I said, "No." She's like, "Well, do you mind if I set you up with another one of my friends?" I just kind of looked at her like, "Are you allowed to do that?" I was like, "I dated your sister-in-law." And she showed me a picture. I said, "Yep, I'm game for that." Uh, and then I guess she talked her into it as well.
We met at a Texas Roadhouse restaurant, and it was love. From there
Yeah,
No.
I don't know if it was love at first sight, or at least she didn't. I had to, I had to work for it a little bit. But yeah, the four of us actually, and the other couple's kid came, so it was a very interesting, very romantic first date.
Sounds like it.
Yeah.
So, what got you to go from date one to date two then?
I think for me to go to the next date, I was definitely interested by him, but I remember sitting on the curb. We got ice cream after dinner, and he actually took active listening with me. Whenever he would ask me questions about who I am, what I was interested in, he actually listened and looked me in the eye and just really wanted to know who I was as a person. So sometimes it's hard to find that, sometimes it's not. But for me, that's why I was like, I'm going to give this guy a chance.
Because he was a good listener. That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was.
Well, and I like was genuinely interested in what she was saying because I knew, I mean, didn't know much about her. I knew her name, what she looked like, and that I knew she danced for the Thunder, and so I really wanted to know what's more to this girl. And then she would talk about her passion for God, and once you kind of know that someone's got that background, I'm like, yeah, I definitely want to see what else is there
Yeah,
because I liked what I saw.
yeah, that was good. What? So, how long did you guys date? What was the dating relationship like, and what happened during that relationship?
A lot happened during that relationship. How long did we date until our first breakup?
We dated a few months, maybe like 6 to 8 months. We just really kept dating each other and getting to know each other. Pretty casual, nothing serious right in the beginning. And then I think we kind of came across our first obstacle, struggle per se, after that 8 month time.
After 8 month time, and then you got back together.
We did. After we kind of had to fight through some issues and work on what we had to overcome, we ended up getting back together.
After
Yes.
that time, well, let's go back then and talk about that first breakup. What happened there, and what got you guys back together afterwards?
Sure. Yeah, the first breakup was actually probably more my doing. I actually had an instance of a night where I had too much to drink at a wedding that I had gone with him. And as everyone knows, when you do have too much to drink and you're not careful with it, things can come up, different emotions and things in your past, or if you're just, upset about a certain thing, it will be highlighted with alcohol. And so for me, I ended up having that night be a reflection onto him from issues and struggles in my past that I just chose to let that come out on him on that night. And so unfortunately, just things that were said and that whole night being kind of a bad night, he needed to step away, and I very much agreed that I needed to work on who I was as a person and be completely healthy before I got into a relationship with someone. So because of my actions in that night, he stepped away, but it was the best thing for me because I actually really sought the Lord, spoke with a few ladies that are really, really godly ladies, just to kind of get back to a good point because I wanted to be with him, but I knew I had to take that time apart.
So, how long was that? Were you guys apart then?
I would say I'm 3 or 4 months. I'm bad with the timeline.
Yeah.
It was a tough time for me because I didn't know if I wanted to be with her, and then I'm very bad at being like the unknown is terrible for me. If I don't know what she's thinking or know what's going on, that's what bothers me. So she did what she could. She was very honest with me. She's like, I'm not ready to talk for a while. But then when she was, we met up at a Starbucks, and she told me what she felt like I needed to know up until that point. And she kept doing that, and that was good for me because it just, she wasn't telling me too much because she didn't want to just throw a bunch of stuff on me yet. But I appreciated it, and the things that she was saying, it made me want to hang around because it's like, well, maybe there could be a lot more to this.
I think it gave him like a sense of hope to know that something can be restored from such a bad night. He saw such a bad side of me come out that I think it gave him hope to say, okay, maybe God's doing something here.
Yeah, and I could tell that it was genuine what she was doing, because if it wasn't, she wouldn't have taken that much time until the time that she came over and she sat down with me and told me that I am the guy that she wants to be with. And I had never heard those words from her before, so I knew that something had changed, and she wasn't the same as she was before.
So what did you do during that 3-4 month period?
For a while, it was kind of the waiting game. I didn't play the, I'm going to go date other. I wasn't interested in anybody or even finding anybody else. I was involved with the life group, leading one, so I put my focus there with the people in that. And it wasn't to, keep my mind off her. I mean, it kind of helped get me through that time, I guess, because I was hurting, I was confused, I was wanting to know what she was feeling and whatnot. And then once she told me that, I didn't say immediately, okay, yes, I want to be with you. I needed some more time from that. And then one day, I'd been praying. I had been praying a lot about it through the whole time. And one day I just got this, God just said, hey, the green light is there for you. I was waiting for God to say, hey, now is the time. But it's finally just clicked. He's like, hey, the green light is there. It's your move now. It's like, I'm not going to tell you black and white every single time. You have to make some decisions on your own. If you want to be with her, now is okay. But if you don't, you have the right to move on as well. And that's where I saw it. I was like, no, I still want to be with this woman.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
So what was it different than when you got back together, the dating relationship?
It was different, yeah. I think it was very, I had a hard time being comfortable around him again because I was still dealing with my own guilt of the way that I acted towards him in that night. So I was really sheltered for a while, and I put a wall up. And that always, in any relationship, I think is damaging because, I should have known after he has forgiven me, then I should go on as if it hasn't happened, but make sure to work towards it never happening again. And so I was very hesitant at first to kind of let him back in, but I think through time, things started to get better.
She was, she had been out. She's older than me. She had been out working on her own, owns her own house, so she had become very independent. And what I started noticing after that, when we got back together, was that she was phasing out of that independence and showing signs. Like, to me, it was great because I can, yes, this woman will allow me to lead. And I could see that it was an effort on her part to get to that point. And that was a big question mark for me. So that's another thing. I was like, wow, this time apart was really good. And it was, God used it for
That's
sure.
cool.
There's no question, yeah.
And it's cool that you could see that, see the difference in it.